right, so
Hey, what's going on?
you're back on the podcast.
Yeah, man.
It's a little bit different this time.
Yeah, just you and me, or you and I.
Yeah.
You and I.
Phil's gone. He left
Yeah, he's living the life in
Florida.
Florida. That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Decides to take a vacation beginning of the year.
Well, good for him. Deserves it.
I know he does.
He does deserve
He's
it,
had a
yeah.
crazy year.
Yeah, I know. I know. You two had that killer teamwork deal. That
Oh,
was.
yeah. We're
Actually, I don't know if I can say that. It's closed, right?
it's closed. It's
Yeah,
closed,
yeah.
and
I edit it out.
we'll talk about that another time when Phil's back.
You
He's
guys,
asked.
you guys did go on that.
He's asked me to, but yeah, we had a crazy deal that there was a lot of ups and downs from pretty much November until Christmas time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that when he's back. Maybe we'll get you on that podcast too to get your feedback. But yeah, he's gone right now. I'll share one thing about him, which I'm pretty impressed about. So he has a now almost 1-year-old daughter.
This is true. Yeah.
No, she's almost 1.
Yeah.
And my biggest fear when he was like, I'm going on a trip. It's a plane ride. It's like 3 hours, 4 hours to Florida, whatever it is. And I'm like, oh my God, with a 1-year-old baby, that's scary because it's either going to be screaming the whole time or it'll be fine. And I'm like, so how did it go? I was nervous for him. And he's like, it was perfect. She got a little cranky when the plane was landing, but that's it. That's pretty impressive. Lucky.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. It made their plane ride easier too that way, right?
And everybody around them. Phil did say, and I'm totally stealing all of Phil's material here, but he was like, everybody on the plane was old lady practically, or like 70 years old because they're going to Florida. Yeah, all the snowbirds. So that definitely helped. They saw a little baby. They're probably all like, oh my God, it's so cute. So yeah, lucky guy. But
the baby got the grandma vibes. That's why he fell asleep.
Exactly. Yeah, it was a calming plane. She's like, oh, these are my people. So today it's just you and I.
Yeah.
A little bit different. I guess on the podcast front, there will be changes in the next week or so.
Okay.
So we are upgrading. We're going back. For a moment in time, we had a 3-camera system. The cameras weren't great quality, so now we're investing into pretty high quality cameras just to increase the production value. And
you guys got
we're
legit stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna be all legit, and we're gonna set up the background. It's gonna be a little bit nicer. So going forward, maybe within the next month or so,
a picture of you and a picture of Phil
beside each other.
Yeah, why not? Make me some. Get I don't know. You get like a cartoon artist.
Yeah,
you and Phil. There you go.
Well, we'll see. We're gonna add some figurines, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know,
okay.
some nerd stuff.
It's true.
Maybe some Star Wars.
Yeah, I was gonna say you guys like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Some Star Wars or something.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Maybe like a lightsaber. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But exciting things are coming.
Yeah, I look forward to what this thing might morph into in the next 6 months or 1 year. Have all sorts of stuff inside.
Hopefully, it's a whole media production by then.
Yeah.
We'll have our vlogs, our YouTube channel, our tutorial videos. We'll see. But today, Billy's on with us again. Now he's practically like the 3rd member of this podcast. I think you've been on like 4 times now. It's good. It's good.
It's all good.
There's always
Yeah,
good conversations, and you're always around. So it's perfect to have you.
Thanks
for coming again. Today, we've talked about real estate a lot in the past, and of course, that's the underlying tone of our media at this point, and it's what we do as realtors. And you brought up a pretty good point, and I kind of want to touch on this before we get into anything. And I'm kind of skipping over some things here, but you mentioned to me, like we were talking about, what's your kind of biggest accomplishment in real estate, or what makes you feel, what moment makes you feel good, or what makes you feel special. And you kind of mentioned something to me, and I've never really thought about it that way.
Yeah.
But I'll let you kind of touch on it. But I thought it was a very good mindset.
Well, I just said, like, because you asked, like, what's your biggest accomplishment, or what do you feel proud about in terms of being part of this real estate, this profession, I guess. And I said to you, it's just becoming a sort of a reliable source for your friends and family to look to when they have real estate needs, whether it be buying or selling or renting out their place. They know they can rely on someone like you to help them take care of business. Basically, is what it is, right? So yeah, that's something I'm very proud of. To know that when their needs within friends and family within this sort of space, that they can, they can look to me as a reliable source.
Yeah, that's really good way of thinking of it, because I think when I asked you that question, I was assuming you would pick one moment that
Sure.
happened,
Yeah.
something that propelled you, or something that something you worked hard on, or whatever it is. But your answer kind of encompasses all of those moments in your career,
Yeah.
and brings it to now. So it kind of looks like it takes the process of you getting to where you are now, and kind of summarizes it in that you're confident in what you do, and other people are confident in what you do. And like, looking to myself,
Yeah.
the moment that I would have talked about actually is exactly what you just said, but just one specific moment.
Okay.
That's been true. And maybe I'll talk about it another time, but it was how I got into my first joint venture, which propelled me to kind of where I am right now. The whole reason I got into that joint venture was because of the confidence that my group, my family, my friends had in me, and which helped me get to the next level.
Exactly. So yeah, if they didn't see you as someone they can trust and go in on to deal with and together, then none of it would have happened, right? So the fact that something like that happened is a great accomplishment. But I was gonna say that one way to look at it, instead of one moment, because although this was a big moment for you and it was probably very pivotal, and I can, if we were going to do that, I can probably pick up pivotal moments in sort of my journey as well, throughout the last year or 2 years, whatever it is. But I also always like to think, and I mentioned this before, that like everything matters, every lease, every deal, because if you think about it, think about up until that point that you got your deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Up until that point, don't you think everything sort of had
100%
to matter, and you literally had to be spot on with everything.
Yeah.
Everything mattered. Look, big clients or small clients, everything mattered for you to get to that, to have that opportunity.
Yeah, if I didn't do what I did before, I wouldn't have had that opportunity, because I wouldn't have been knowledgeable, and my foot wouldn't have been in the door. So no, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. So that's why when I was saying, it's not just, you can pick up pivotal moments, but it's not pivotal moment. In some ways, it's not, because it's all one sort of thing, right? Even this park in the future, and most likely, if you keep progressing this way, in terms of that park, would also be part of something possibly much larger as well. Because like, if it never happened, this wouldn't have happened as well, right? And it's all part of one long.
Well, it's a good way of looking at it, and I think like for you, coming from a fitness standpoint, I mean, you've always, your mindset with the gym is that you're not going to the gym, it's just what you do. It's like you're breathing or drinking water. The working out is just, there's no option. You just do it because it's part of who you are. And I think that kind of goes to the same with that whole mindset of the progress and the process that you chose, and all the work that you put in. It's not for a specific outcome, but it's what leads to an outcome that you don't even know while you're doing it.
Sure. I know in one of Bruce Lee's famous interviews, it starts off, what they ask him. They asked him something about martial arts, and then he replied, "But I never imagined this." I think I have to get back to that quote. It's a great quote, because they talk about how he accomplished a lot, but then like when he started practicing martial arts, he never imagined he'd become like a Hollywood superstar, that kind of thing. That wasn't never part of his sort of thing. He just wanted to practice martial arts because he enjoyed it every day, basically. So, and then he slowly got better and better at it, and then someday became a movie star, right? So yeah,
it's hard nowadays. Like I think a lot of people. Well, it's different, because you get a job nowadays, and it's probably always been like this, but you don't necessarily love or have a passion for the job for the most part. I would say most people are in that boat where you have a job because you need the money, and you're working the job. So it's really important, in my opinion, to find a hobby or something that you are passionate about when it isn't your job, or even when it is your job. It's good to have multiple, like for myself, my mindset is always, I have like 20 hobbies that I'm always constantly kind of evolving, and there's one that I'll pick up for a few months and then realize, you know what, maybe this isn't for me, and I'll try something else. And whether it's in the last couple of years, a couple of the new ones I picked up were tennis, now running, video games. I've always loved video games as a kid. That's a hobby of mine for sure. There's a few different ones that have just popped up, and there's a lot that have come and gone, but I've tried it, and for me that's really important, is trying it, because you never know. I hated running, but you try it, you learn about it, you do your research on how to properly run or how to properly, work out or how to properly play tennis. And then all of a sudden you have that like aha moment where you're like, oh, this actually felt good this time.
Yeah.
Like what? Running always felt bad for me. Why does it feel good now? Well, it's because you're training your mind and kind of teaching your body on how to do it properly.
I think like I'm not an expert on this. I'm pretty sure there's probably some literature that says, as you become more proficient in something, you enjoy it more.
That makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
I think, and then that comes with, as you become as you become more proficient or become more like towards mastery towards something, you enjoy doing it more. I think that's how it goes. I think.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
I think I'm a little bit different when it comes to that. Whereas I like being bad at something, not because I've done it for a long time,
okay,
but I love the challenge of you saying, "Hey, Spiro, let's play pool or something that I don't do often, right?
Yeah.
Let's play pool or whatever it is, pick it, bowling, whatever it is. I like picking it up. Let's say it's bowling, throwing the first bowl, or if that's even the terminology, bowling the first time, rolling the ball, and being terrible, and then I'm like, oh, how do I get better at this? And then I obsess, and then I watch every single YouTube video. I'll read books on it. I'll read articles. I'll do whatever it is for weeks until I get there, and then I bowl, and I'm like, oh, that was a good one.
So what I noticed about you, so when your approach to things is very good, and you apply your approach to many things. So whether it be bowling or be running, or whatever, like your 20 hobbies, you tell me you want to try to accomplish something, then you start doing your research, and then you practice at it. That's the same thing with any other skill. And that's a good way to approach things. You try it out, and then improve from there. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. A lot of people fail at things, right? You're not going to succeed at everything. You try a bunch of different things and find the stuff that you gravitate towards as you become more proficient in it, and eventually it'll lead into more things that are more in depth. I think for like someone like you might be more of like I would say like to dabble in a lot of things, like 20 different things. I would say I'm a little different in that sense, and in the sense that I pick a few things that I really like. And I know, and because there's only so many hours during the day.
Yeah.
So I find the things I like, and then I just keep doing them over and over and over. That's what I do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally different.
Yeah, and I think that's where when we talked about sort of this idea of a process, and this idea of sort of your whole thing. This conversation is making me think about the idea of thriving. I don't know if you Google it and you do a little bit of research on thriving. I think it's what are the two things? It's like two circles. I forgot what's in the circles, and in the middle of the circle is what
Venn diagram.
Is what's called. In the middle is like where there's a cross section.
Yeah.
Then that's where it says thrive. So and I think thrive is like you want to do as much things that you're good at, and it helps you and it gives you an ability to grow. Ideally, what you're good at, and an ability for you to progress or grow. So, for example, say like a pianist. The way the pianist thrives is by playing the piano, because they're good at it, they enjoy it, and they can become better at it, right? So when they become better at becoming a pianist, they're also growing as a person. I think that so that's and that's that's not something that you can do overnight. It's not. Some ways, this pianist may have had pivotal moments, but at the same time, it's the pianist just going through the process of mastering being a pianist that they're able to thrive. And that gives it's a good place to be when you're thriving. Oh, yeah, right. So, and it. What does it say? And then when things with when you're talking about challenges, and I'm just thinking about thriving all of a sudden today. I don't know why. What do you think? These challenges, like, I know who is it? So I'm thinking thriving. So I'm thinking about like Jay Shetty talks about thriving. I'm thinking about dirt, and who's that guy? Steve Harvey talks about dirt and challenges. He's like, all these challenges in your life, it's like they're just burying you in dirt. It can bury you, right? Or if you overcome these challenges, this dirt it nourishes you, right? Growing from the ground, the dirt nourishes you, and then you can grow from there. So, and I don't know, there's a lot of YouTube stuff I watch. So it gives you a bit of insights on how people think about some of this kind of stuff. So yeah,
it makes a lot of sense. I think personally, I mean, the only way I can really look at this is through my own lens, right? But and for myself, I think one of my weaknesses, I would say, is one of my strengths is that I'm curious and I want to try a lot of things, and I'm doing it.
Yeah.
One of my weaknesses is sticking with the thing long term. Even when I like something and I get proficient in it, I get good. That's okay for me.
Okay.
A lot of the time, and then, like you said, I like to dabble in a lot of things.
Yeah.
And then my thing is mastery. Yeah. That's the next step, and maybe that's with age or maturity or just
sure. So you're very young still.
Just finding something. Who knows?
Like you're obviously very young still. Who knows where you might be 10 years from now? It's hard to say, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't.
No clue. Know, right? Exactly. I don't even. You know, I think about that far ahead, but at the same time, I know that my picture of what that is and what will happen is totally different. Yeah. Who knows?
There's no way to tell what the hell.
No way.
You could try writing it down. You can kind of guess.
Yeah, and I do that.
It's probably so off though. It's probably so off.
It will be. Or it could be spot on. You never really know. I mean, it's good to set kind of an ideal scenario that you want to be in. That's how I look at it more so. It's not like, if I was like, I am going to be killing this many deals a year and doing this and that and blah, 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 that will probably be off. Not because of my ability to execute on that, but because of life's curveballs. Like, who knows what opportunities will come up that I might have to take that will change me. Or,
yes, exactly.
Will I be closing deals? Will I be starting companies? Or will I be taking a back seat and saying, hey, I'm kind of good. I don't really need to do this anymore, right? Like, there's so many things that could happen. And same with you. Like, if you really wanted to, the next 5 to 10 years could be so different at this point in your life and career. Yeah. Like, you could probably be on the beach all day if you really wanted to, or you could be
that, but
well, you could. You really could. If you wanted to make it happen, you could do that.
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
Guess so, sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
And so that could be that. In 5 years, we're gonna be like, hey, remember that Billy guy? He was like, he used to work here, and now he's sending us pictures in Indonesia.
Like, that could happen, but I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the
never
case.
know. Yeah. Okay. You never know what happens in life. That's fair. Right? Just keep your options open. Don't tie yourself down too much, and just kind of keep going.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I like my life right now, the way it is. A little bit of work, a little bit of leisure, a little bit of friends and family. I'd probably, if it were up to me, if we're just up to me without the curveballs, you're talking about life throws at you kind of thing, I'd probably be doing similar kind of stuff, right? Yeah. I think. And I don't know, but obviously, like you said, curveballs. What if I win the lottery? Then all of a sudden, we win like a huge lottery. Then all of a sudden, the perspective's got to change and stuff like that, right? So yeah.
Well, that's a really good perspective to have. Yeah. Is that you're happy where you are. Yeah. And you wouldn't be trading it for anything else within reason. I mean, of course, like you said, you win the lottery. Sure.
Yeah, change your perspective.
Yeah, everything's going to be different. But to be happy with who you are in the current time, I think is what most people chase. Because a lot of people, and I you've been there. Yeah. I'm assuming you've been there, but I've been there where I'm looking at my current scenario and saying, if I can only go back to that other time, or if I could, I wish I was kind of somewhere else. And I'm not saying this is you now, but I think everybody has moments of this and weakness where you're thinking, I really wish I had this, or remember how good that time was for me, and I just want to feel it again. But knowing that in the current moment that there are the ups and downs, but that you're exactly where you want to be and who you want to be is very powerful.
Well, I'm thankful that I have it, and I enjoy this feeling of being where I want to be. And you said, like as you say, and some people are, and a lot of people are still searching for where they want that sort of, I guess, sweet spot, if you call that, the happiness sweet spot. But I think also a lot of it's, it starts with the basics with stuff like this, and anyone can probably benefit from this, like gratitude. Like Tony Robbins says.
Yeah, Gary Vee. Gratitude.
Yeah. Like, these are very basic things, and these are not like, these are like fundamental views amongst a lot of people, a lot of successful people, or a lot of leaders in some ways, right? Look at other great Oprah. She bring up gratitude all the time. Other These things are very basic, and that's a good place to start if you're looking for happiness. When you think about all things to be grateful for, you can make a great list. And a lot of times, the things you take for grateful for, are the things you take for granted. Think about it, like, knock on some wood. People talk about this all the time, like, cherish your friends and family, because it's inevitable that one day you're gonna grieve. It's inevitable for everyone, and that's the truth. Whether it's your a close friend or family, these things are inevitable. So be grateful that they're here and that everyone's healthy. And these are things a lot of people take for granted. Yeah, and I'm guilty of it too. I'm not perfect, right? Sometimes I don't want to talk about it. So I see my parents, for sometimes, and I'm glad to see them, but sometimes I take them for granted too. I get mad a little too easily, because you're your parents kind of thing, right?
Yeah, they annoy you.
Yeah, exactly. So, or even even people take for granted, So, like, if you go a total perspective shift, like the poorest people in the world, think about how little they have, and we, like, basically won, as Gary Vee says, won the genetic sort of jackpot. Like, you live in the West, and like life is kind of easy mode to begin with. There's a lot to be grateful for, right? Whereas, if you're born in a war-torn country, life sucks all of a sudden. Right? It's a different hand you're dealt with. So yeah, so start with some of the basic gratitude. Also, like, if we're gonna go there, I also like humility. These things that you should practice, and laughter. Like you start talking shit, and everything feels so better, right? See?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So some of these basics help
That's I think
achieve
rare these days too. It's harder. And you know what? It's probably because of COVID. I think COVID really changed that. But like I read something a while back and said that guys have to be getting out with their friends once a week and just going, maybe drink a couple beers and just let loose. No, you're not going crazy, but like, it's the laughter that you get when there's some of my university friends that I see once in a blue moon, and every time I'm with them, let's say we're together for 3-4 hours, there's one moment that makes me cry with laughter. Yeah. And I feel cured of everything. Like, sure. If my leg hurts, I feel better. Like everything just feels so much better after that. I feel tired. I feel just like relaxed. I can lay back. I have a big smile on my face, and like that moment, if I could bottle that moment and sell it, I think I'd be the richest man in the world.
You might be. I think they do say laughter is the greatest medicine, right? Is that the quote?
I think so. It feels like it though.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
It's true.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
And I think COVID made it difficult for a lot of people. I think life makes it difficult, and if you let it, I guess it's that dirt analogy you said. If you let life bury you, and you become secluded, or some people like it. I'm talking about on average. Okay. You don't go out anymore. Or you don't try to get that laughter. You don't try to get that. Keep relationships up and all that. It's easy to find yourself in a dark place, I think.
So yeah, if you become isolated, and then unfortunately that's probably what happens to some people.
A lot of people.
Yeah, you can get yourself into a bit of a funk, but then then it's also your responsibility, as Jordan Peterson says. It's your responsibility to start with the self. It's your responsibility to get yourself out of the funk as well.
Yeah,
because this idea of responsibility, like, for example, say you went into a dark depression or whatever, became really out of shape, unhealthy. All of a sudden, you become someone else's responsibility or the liability to other people. Maybe to your girlfriend, friends, and family. If they have to look after your health or look after your well-being, then you're becoming a burden on them. That's why, ideally, you should pick yourself out of the funk to a better place where these people you're not a burden to these people, and in fact, you take yourself to a position where your support for people who went into a bit of a funk, right? You want to be that supportive sort of pillar. And it might not just be real estate; it might be like other sources of reliability. That's why you try not to let life bury you. You want to overcome these challenges and take yourself to that sort of position where you're able to help others, and also help others.
What's the best here? I'm just gonna move this a little closer, or maybe just scooch up a bit. But what would be the best advice you can give to get yourself out of that funk? Because I've been in that funk before, and I think a lot of people have. I think it's normal. It's healthy, not healthy, but it's part of being a human.
Sure,
you're gonna get into funks.
Yeah.
And you'll get into good groups.
Yeah. Everyone experience like ups and downs, right? That's
Yeah.
life. Everyone hits rock bottom. Sometimes they hit rock bottom multiple times in life, right?
Yeah.
Ideally, you
I think
find
most people will hit multiple times.
You ideally you find a way to bounce back from it. That's what it is, right?
Do you have like a trigger that
So-
you're
so-
like, okay, I'm at the bottom or I'm heading down.
Yeah.
Is there something that resets yourself?
So here's the thing. So, like you said earlier, we trying to, like you mentioned, there's ups and downs. Trying to remain like that steady calm throughout life is powerful, like you said, and that there's a lot of intelligent people who say, you know, calm's a superpower kind of thing. So you to try to maintain that. That's something to be you're in control of. You want to be aware of. And then so like I talked about the basics like gratitude. And then and then I believe in health and fitness. I think generally for me, I'm pretty sure other people would agree too. You get a good exercise session, whether hitting the gym or you might go for a run. These things release with endorphins, release other good hormones that make you feel good hormones basically. So exercise is good, and I also get some more sleep. Make sure you're eating well. These things will, I think, are fundamental on getting yourself out of
like watering a plant. It's just like
sure.
adding the nutrients, making sure that you might not see a change right away, but after a few days, a few weeks, a few months, a year, you're gonna.
You should, it just seems unreasonable for me to think. It seems unreasonable to me that if someone's in a funk, and they started taking better care of themselves, whether it be good exercise habits, sleep habits, or eating habits, over a course of a period of time, they're not going to feel better. It's just unreasonable to me. That's the way I look at it. Yeah,
so you're saying, if you do those changes, for sure you will feel better. No, you might not feel amazing, perfect, but you're going to feel better
than you were before. That's progress, right?
For sure.
Yeah, and no, these are things that you're in control of, right?
So I guess your trigger then would be.
Well, you want to work on things you can control, for sure.
So your trigger would be to get to the gym, or to go for the walk, or to, like put your shoes on to go and do something, or to eat healthier is to maybe the trigger is throw out the chips, or buy the salad, like something like that.
So for me personally, whatever we call them, gym rats or whatever, going to the gym is the easy part. Like there's a lot of people like me, going to the gym, that's the easy part. I guess if we're talking about sort of maintaining a healthy diet, I think for most people, the food part's a little more challenging than actually going to the gym, because gym's easy. That's a lot of fun, right? So it's less fun when you tell me, I got to eat within a certain amount of calories and this and that, and that's a little less fun, right? But so I guess if we're talking about the sort of that trigger points, I guess we'll start sort of choosing what to eat. That's the trigger point, right?
Finding your trigger point. Yeah. Huh. Maybe maybe that's what everybody listening should try to figure out, is what is your trigger point? I think for myself, it would be waking up earlier, because whenever I find myself in a funk, is I wake up later and later, and I stay up later and later. And my reset is I wake up early, I go to bed early, and I just accomplish 10 times more in a day, because I get it done in the morning.
So if it works for you, then then you build off of that, right? That's how it goes.
Billy, we just did a 28-minute podcast of a 30-minute podcast. We didn't touch on real estate at all, but
we want to talk about real estate real quick. Everyone,
we have 1 minute. I think what we've learned today is that we need to sit down again soon, continue this conversation.
Okay, yeah.
Because it was great having you on again.
Oh, thank you, sir.
I know I'm ending it abruptly, but this was our time limit.
No, I had a good chat. It was a good chat. Sometimes I'm thinking about these things, and a lot of, and I'm sure you're thinking about these things too. Not just
I like talking about this.
Not always. About
you know
work.
what? Like I'm thinking about these things more than I'm thinking about other things. It's great to talk about it, and no, for sure. And we'll continue this conversation, and hopefully we'll have you on again very soon. And if Phil's back, we'll do it again. Where can people find you if they want to follow you?
Follow me.
Yeah.
They can find me on Facebook or Instagram, I guess.
What's your Instagram handle?
I don't know. Billy H828 at Instagram, something like that.
All right, guys, you've heard it here. Thanks for listening. Follow Billy on Instagram. We'll be back again shortly.
Right. Thanks for having me. Right.
Thank you.